So this meeting is being live streamed. Okay, here we go. So, Daneshwar Prabhu is here too. Okay, I'm going to try this new melody. I've never sang with devotees before. I just figured this out a few minutes ago, and I checked in with Pradyumna to get some additional inspiration. And so I think we have to mute ourselves, otherwise it's going to sound gobbledygook with everyone responding. And there is a mantra that I dug up here. I remember my godbrother, dear Krishna Prabhu, singing this many years ago. I'm going to try. Let me just get rid of the recording here. And here's the lyrics to the bhajan. But I thought before singing this, Prabhupada always said to chant the Panchataba Mantra first. So I'll sing that, and then I'll sing the next one. The Brahma Bole Chaturamukha Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Mahadeva Panchamukhe Rama Rama Hare Hare. But I'll start with Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Brahma Bole Chaturmukhe Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Mahadeva Panchamukhe Rama Rama Hare Hare Brahma Bole Chaturmukhe Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Mahadeva Panchamukhe Rama Rama Hare Hare Brahma Bole Chaturmukhe Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Mahadeva Panchamukhe Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Do you remember that one, Dineshwar, by Dear Krishna Prabhu, now Sudhir Maharaj?
I do remember that, and you did a very nice job.
Well, thank you very much. Krishna is the ability in man. Okay, so, I've got a godbrother in England right now, Ramanath Sukha Prabhu, and he's having a whole meeting with many of the leaders in the Temple Council of the Bhaktivedanta Manor, just to see if next year he can give a talk on Lord Shiva on Sivaratri. I found it interesting to find a talk by Radhika Raman Prabhu, who is a graduate of Oxford University in religion. And back in 2014, he was saying, so today's Shivaratri, so we're going to talk about Lord Shiva. And I was thinking, maybe that's the benefit sometimes of being in a small temple, because you don't have to go through a dozen temple council members to be able to talk about Lord Shiva on Shivaratri. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, just sharing that thought with you. So I hope no Nanda Patni, I hope you have no objections. Since tomorrow is Shivaratri, I thought it'd be a nice opportunity to meditate on the greatest of all Vaishnavas, Lord Shiva. Do you have any objections?
Not at all. I mean, what Janardhan Maharaj was saying, he was on a train with Prabhupada, and the train slowed down, and he saw this field of flowers outside, and he hopped off the train and picked the flowers and came back in, gave them to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada put them on his ears, behind his ears. And because they were kind of bluish purple, Prabhupada said, now I'm Lord Shiva.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Daneshwar Prabhu, do you know who Janardhan Maharaj is? Are you familiar?
No, I'm not.
It's our godbrother Panchadravida used to be Panchadravida Prabhu.
Oh, okay, yes, I know that person.
And he took sannyas from, I think, Srila Sridhar Maharaj. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's who you're referencing right now, because
Mhm.
you're in Santa Cruz near the Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat.
Yes, I just went there. Look what Krishna gave me.
Wow.
I got Radha and Krishna's. It's daffodils. You can't believe the smell.
Wow. I can smell it over here.
Because I picked all these vegetables on the farm and took them to, for the deities there. And they
Oh.
say they can make kofta out of the daikon that I picked, daikon radish.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
You got some special mercy there. I'm wondering what's up with that.
Yeah, I picked turnips, arugula, bok choy, and daikon today
Wow.
for Radha Krishna. Yeah.
You got the prize.
Yes.
Okay, so I've pulled up a few things here. I have one article by Satyaraj Prabhu, Shiva, the auspicious one, that he wrote for BTG, which I thought was quite revolutionary, because in all the years of BTG, I'm not sure they ever devoted just one article to Lord Shiva. And here's one from Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada comments on Shivaratri and its observance. So why don't we do the usual 2 paragraphs? So I've already sung, so I'll count that as speaking. And so next it's Krishna Chandra Prabhu. And let me just share this right now. Share screen. Here we go. And yeah, so Krishna Chandra, and then Daneshwar, and then yourself, Nanda Patni.
Mhm.
Second. Once upon a time, the cowherd men of Vrindavan, headed by Nanda Maharaj, decided to go to Ambikavana to observe the Shivaratri ceremony. The Rasalila was performed during the autumn, and after that, the next big ceremony is Holi, or the Dolayatra ceremony. Between the Dolayatra ceremony and the Rasalila ceremony, there is one important ceremony called Shivaratri, which is especially observed by the Shivites, or devotees of Lord Shiva. Sometimes the Vaishnavas also observe this ceremony because they accept Lord Shiva as the foremost Vaishnava. But the function of Shivaratri is not observed very regularly by the bhaktas, or devotees of Krishna. Under the circumstances, it is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam that Nanda Maharaj and the other cowherd men once upon a time desired. This means that they were not regularly observing the Shivaratri function, but that once upon a time they wanted to go to Ambikavana out of curiosity. Ambikavana is somewhere in the Gujarat province, and it is said to be situated on the river Saraswati. Yet, we do not find any Saraswati River in the Gujarat province, although there is a river named Savarmati. In India, all the big places of pilgrimage are situated on nice rivers like the Ganges, Yamuna, Saraswati, Narmada, Godavari, and Kaveri. Ambikavana was situated on the bank of Saraswati, and Nanda Maharaj and all the other cowherd men went there.
You want to count that as 2 paragraphs or 1? It's up to you.
I'd like to do the other one, sure.
Sure. We love your voice, so go for it.
I love the service. They very devotedly began to worship the deity of Lord Shiva and Ambika. It is the general practice that wherever there is a temple of Lord Shiva, there must be another temple of Ambika or Durga, because Ambika is the wife of Lord Shiva and is the most exalted of chaste women. She doesn't live outside the association of her husband. After reaching Ambikavana, the cowherd men of Vrindavan first bathe themselves in the river Saraswati. If one goes to any place of pilgrimage, his first duty is to take a bath and sometimes to shave his head. That is the first business. After taking a bath, they worship the deities and then distributed charity in the holy places. Krishna Book, Chapter 34.
Okay, Daneshwar Prabhu.
Srila Prabhupada, observing Sivaratri, Nanda Maharaj, and all the cowherd men, they increased their attachment for Krishna. This is wanted. D.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, 1st May 1974, Morning Walk, excerpt, Bombay, India. So by observing Sivaratri, they increase their attachment for Krishna. This is nice. Let's see how we can do that also. In this verse, Lord Shiva is described as Midushtama, the best of the benefactors. He is also known as Asutosh, which indicates that he is very quickly satisfied and very quickly angered. It is said in the Bhagavad Gita that less intelligent persons go to the demigods for material benedictions. In this connection, people generally go to Lord Shiva, and because he is always quickly satisfied and gives benedictions to his devotees without consideration, he is called Midushtama, or the best of the benefactors. Materialistic persons are always anxious to get material profit, but they are not serious about spiritual profit. Sometimes, of course, it so happens that Lord Shiva becomes the best benefactor in spiritual life. It is said that once a poor Brahmana worshipped Lord Shiva for a benediction, and Lord Shiva advised the devotee to go see Sanatana Goswami. The devotee went to see Sanatana Goswami and informed him that Lord Shiva had advised him to seek out the best benediction from him, Sanatana. Sanatana had a touchstone with him, which he kept with the garbage. On the request of the poor Brahmana, Sanatana Goswami gave him the touchstone. And the Brahmana was very happy to have it. He can now get as much gold as he desired simply by touching the touchstone to iron. But after he left Sanatana, he thought, wait a minute, if a touchstone is the best benediction, why is Sanatana Goswami keeping it with the garbage? He therefore returned and asked Sanatana Goswami, sir, if this is the best benediction, why did you keep it with the garbage? Sanatana Goswami then informed him, actually, this is not the best benediction, but are you prepared to take the best benediction from me? The Brahmin said, yes, sir, Lord Shiva has sent me to you for the best benediction. Then Sanatana Goswami asked him to throw the touchstone in the water nearby and then come back. The poor Brahmana did so, and when he returned, Sanatana Goswami initiated him with the Hare Krishna mantra. Thus, by the benediction of Lord Shiva, the Brahmana got the association of the best devotee of Krishna and was thus initiated in the Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Srimad Bhagavatam 477, purport.
Nandapatni.
Vaishnavanam's Yata Shambhu. Lord Shiva is the greatest devotee of Lord Vishnu. Lord Krishna, Vishnu, is in this analogy considered to be likened to milk. Milk is the origin of so many dairy products. Krishna too, Bhagavan Swayam. So Krishna or Vishnu is the origin of everything. When Krishna wants activity overseen of the modes of Tamagun, he expands himself, transforming his supreme powers to act in that way, as no one else could. And in that state, he is Shambhu, Shiva. So it may be seen that milk is transformed, becomes yogurt, but that yogurt can never again become milk. This is presented in the Brahma Samhita 545. Kshiram yata dadati kara vishesha yogat sanjayate nahita tata pritag astiheto ya shambhutam apitata samupati garyad govindam adipurusham tam aham bhajami. Translation: just as milk is transformed into curd by the action of acids, but yet the effect of curd is neither same as nor different from its cause, vis-a-vis milk, so I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, of whom the state of Shambhu is a transformation for the performance of the work of destruction.
Purport: the real nature of Shambhu, the presiding deity of Maheshdam, is described. Shambhu is not a second godhead other than Krishna. Those who entertain such discriminating sentiment commit a great offense against the Supreme Lord. The supremacy of Shambhu is subservient to that of Govinda. Hence, they are not really different from each other. The non-distinction is established by the fact that just as milk treated with acid turns into curd, so Godhead becomes a subservient when he himself attains a distinct personality by the addition of a particular element of adulteration. This personality has no independent initiative. The said adulterating principle is constituted of a combination of the stupefying quality of the diluting energy, the quality of non-plentitude of the marginal potency, and a slight degree of the ecstatic cognitive principle of the plenary spiritual potency. This specifically adulterated reflection of the principle of the subjective portion of the divinity is Sadashiva in the form of the effulgent masculine symbol god Shambhu, from whom Rudradev is manifested. In the work of a mundane creation as the material cause, in the work of preservation by the destruction of sundry asuras, and in the work of destruction to conduct the whole operation, Govinda manifests himself as Guna Avatar in the form of Shambhu, who is the separated portion of Govinda imbued with the principle of his subjective plenary portion. What does Sundri Asuras mean? Anyone know?
I think it means a number of them. You know, like you say, all and sundry.
A variety.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you. The personality of the destructive principle in the form of time has been identified with that of Shambhu, by scriptural evidences that have been adduced in the commentary. The purport of the Bhagavat slokas, viz. Vaishnavanam yata Shambhu, etc., is that Shambhu, in pursuance of the will of Govinda, works in union with his consort Durga Devi by his own time energy. He teaches pious duties, dharma, as stepping stones to the attainment of spiritual service in the various tantra shastras, etc., suitable for jivas in different grades of the conditional existence. In obedience to the will of Govinda, Shambhu maintains and fosters the religion of pure devotion by preaching the cult of illusionism, Mayavad, and the speculative Agama Shastras. What does Agama Shastra mean? Anyone know? The 50 attributes of individual souls are manifest in a far vaster measure in Shambhu. 5 additional attributes, not attainable by jivas, are also partly found in him. So Shambhu cannot be called a jiva. He is the lord of jiva, but yet partakes of the nature of a separated portion of Govinda. Sri Brahma Samhita, translation by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. Unless someone else has joined us. Yay, Nirhari is here, and Bhavatrini, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Hi, obeisances to you both. Are you able to read, or you're busy driving?
No, we parked the car. We're in the town. We're parked.
Are you
So
reading
we
or
can
not?
read.
Oh, okay. There's your turn. Vrindavanavani.
Vrindavanavani Pate Jaya Soma Soma Maule Sanaka Sanandana Sanatana Naradevya Gopisvara Braja Vilasi Yugangri Padme Prema Prayacha Nirupati Namo Namaste. O gatekeeper of Vrindavan, O Soma, all glories to you. O you whose forehead is decorated with the moon, and who is worshipable by the sages seated by Sanaka, Sanandan, Sanatana, and Narada. O Gopishwar Shiva, desiring that you bestow upon me that prema for the lotus feet of Sri Radha Madhava, who perform joyous pastimes in Brajadam, I offer obeisances unto you time and again.
Bhavatrini, like to read?
Sure.
So Shiva, Lord Shiva. Shiva.
Oh, it's turned off.
Yes. I can see the screen. I lost the screen where
It's still
your
up
screen
on
here.
our end.
I can't find it. All I see is all of you, but no.
Okay, then I'll continue then if you're not able to read.
I don't know where the screen.
Shiva, Lord Shiva, and Ratri, night. So Shivaratri means the night of Lord Shiva. Every lunar month, on the 13th or 14th day of the dark half of the moon phase, there is a Shivaratri. But in the Vedic month of Palgun, February, March, there is a Maha Shivaratri. This year it falls on the 16th or 17th of February, depending where you are on the planet. The ceremony takes place mainly at night. This festival observed in the honor of Lord Shiva, who is married to Parvati, Mother Durga, Mother Gauri, on this day. Some devotees observe a strict fast on this day. Some really strict devotees perform a nirjal fast, that is, they do not even have a sip of water. They keep vigil, maybe that means vigil,
Vigil, yeah.
the entire night. The Shiva Lingam is worshipped throughout the night by washing it every 3 hours with milk, yogurt, ghee, honey, and so forth, whilst chanting of the mantra Om Namo Shivaya continues. Offering of bale leaves are made to the lingam. Bale leaves are very sacred, as Tulsi to Lord Vishnu, and dar to Mother Durga are very pleasing to them, and Lord Shiva becomes pleased with that offering. Many different hymns glorifying Lord Shiva are sung with intense fervor and devotion. Aspirants perform japa of the Panchak Shara Mantra. Om Namo Shivaya.
May I ask,
Yes, you may.
what's Dar?
I don't know. Can you look that up?
Anybody?
Krishna Chandra Prabhu, can you look up Dar? Dhar?
I'll try. Yep.
And add in Durga, because it's Dar is offered to Durga, whatever that is.
And
Dar is Ru is wood. Daru is wood.
Right.
yeah,
What was the context again?
Daru. The Daru of Jagannath is Daru, but this is Dhar.
Mhm.
So quick
Oh, okay.
search, it said Durga Dhar is a liquid mixture consisting of usually 9 auspicious ingredients, depending on your situation. I'm trying to get more information though.
So Baal is offered to Shiva, Tulsi is offered to Vishnu, and Dar is offered to Mother Durga. It sounds like a kind of flower or something, or herb. Okay.
They also offer cannabis to Lord Shiva.
All right.
Every single home in India at this time, they offer.
But they don't use it.
It's not that they use it, but they also offer some leaves of the plant, of cannabis plant.
Krishna Chandra, do you want
But
to
they
read?
also make bag.
Oh, yes.
Can I
Prabhu,
read?
Absolutely. Oh,
You're able
you
to.
should read,
I have
absolutely.
one more question first, please.
Yeah.
Gaura, where are we reading from?
This is a. No, I thought you were going to be inquiring because I know you're very parampara.
Well, it'd be nice to know where we're reading from before we're reading rather than after.
No, I get, I get it. I mean, okay, here, Hari Bhakti Vilas, Skanda Purana. That's where we're reading from.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, okay. Please,
Okay, I don't.
please
The
continue.
screen is not on again. Disappear again on us.
Shut it off for a moment. I thought it was going to turn into a whole question period or discussion period. All right, shares.
Turns it off.
Yeah, okay, we're back. Bhavatrini, can you read, please?
Where?
He's
Go
coming.
to Vaishnav Smriti.
Okay. It's buffering. It says Gaura.
Okay. Quotes from Vaishnava Smriti compilation Hari Bhakti Vilas of Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami and the Dikdarshini Tika of Srila Sanatan Goswami Prabhupada. Sivaratri Vritam Krishna Chatur Dashyantu Falgune Vaishnaver Apitat Karyam Sri Krishna Pritaye Sada. Hari Bhakti Vilas 187 from Gautamiya Tantra. On the 14th day of the dark fortnight of the moon, of the month of Falguna, February, March, for the pleasure of Lord Krishna, a Vaishnava should always take a vow to fast. It is called Sivaratri, or the night of Lord Shiva. Parat parataram yanti narayan parayanaha nate tatra gamishanti ye divishanti maheshvara.
A lot of noise. I don't know who's making all the noise. I'm sorry, but it's really disturbing the reading.
Hari
Okay.
Bhakti Vilas 14,189 from Karma Purana. The Supreme Lord speaks to Bhrigu Muni. One who avoids fasting on the Shiva Ratri or the night of Lord Shiva, he becomes very offensive. Whatever offenses one accumulates by not fasting on Shiva Ratri day is explained here. The destination of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Narayan, is certainly in the spiritual world. But if one is envious of Lord Sri Shiva, he does not attain the spiritual world. Do you want me to keep reading or?
We're reading 2 paragraphs each. I don't know if you consider that to be 2 paragraphs or not.
That's why I was asking. I don't know.
Yeah, that was
Up to
2
you.
paragraphs. Christian Chandra, if you want to finish this.
Yani kani atra lingani stavarani charani cha. Teshu sankramate devas tasyam ratro yato haraha shivratris tata prokta tena sahari balab. Shri Hari Bhakti Vilas 14,200 from Skanda Purana, Nagara Kanda. Whatever genital deities of Lord Shiva that can be found on this earthly planet, on the night of this 14th day of the dark fortnight of the month of Palgun, Lord Shiva, who is a leading demigod, enters into them. For this reason, this day is called Sivaratri. For this reason, this day is very dear to Lord Sri Hari. Shri Krishna Vaishnava Nantu Prema Bhakti Vivardate. Krishna Bhakti Rasa Saravarsi Rudra Anukampaya. Hari Bhakti Vilas 14,221 from Skanda Purana. Being a Vaishnava, if somebody fasts on Lord Shiva's night, Shivaratri day, by the mercy of him, Lord Shiva, who is diving in the ocean of the mellow of devotion to Krishna, one's devotion to Krishna increases rapidly.
I'd just like to make a comment that I find this fascinating to read because Srila Prabhupada never gave us these specific instructions, yet we see that Sri Gopal Bhatta and Sri Sanatan Goswami are stating in Hari Bhakti Vilas that it's very good to honor that day with a fast or even a Nirjal fast. I don't know if anyone would like to comment on that because that's a debate they're having in the UK right now. Srila Prabhupada never observed Shivaratri, so why would we?
I would like to comment.
Please.
We're reading from Hari Bhakti Vilas, which is not something that we had in Srila Prabhupada's time. And again, Prabhupada did not suggest that we observe this fast. I also just looked on the Vaishnava calendar that I have, and it mentions nothing about fasting there. Right. But reading this and seeing it particularly from Hari Bhakti Vilas, I'm very much convinced that we should fast on this day to obtain the mercy of Lord Shiva to become better devotees of Krishna.
Mm-hmm. Because we need all the help we can get, right?
Amen to that.
Can I get an amen for that? We can't see your angelic face, Daneshwar Prabhu.
Yeah, better if you look at Krishna than me.
Krishna depoisoning the planet.
That's right. Just like you're showing there.
Yes, that's true. Any comment from you, Sages, Nandapatni, Devi Dasi?
Well, I think it's an interesting point that you bring up because, I can see how an institution would tussle with, the phenomenon, let's say, of doing things which were not done in the time of the founder. I think that's a natural kind of tussle, for want of another word, to have. And Vaishnavas are very sensitive about these kinds of things. I mean, just look at how everybody's hair stood on end over the book editing and things like that. So I think in the history of a religion or an institution, these are difficult things to kind of manage in a way. But having said all that, putting that aside, I could see that in a mature sense, that it would be rather wonderful to honor the Shivaratri, but also at the same time, I could see that it might be a little tricky with the huge Indian diaspora that we have in all our temples, because there can be a stronger tendency, as Prabhupada points out in his purports, to get carried away with demigod worship through a lack of understanding. So, it's not a straightforward issue, I don't think. Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, that's my 2 cents.
May I reply to that?
Yeah.
Nirihari's got his hand up. I'm sorry.
Hari Prabhu has been patiently waiting. If he gives you permission to reply, you can. Otherwise, he's next. Hari, does Daneshwar have your permission to reply? Or
No. Let him go.
Okay, go ahead.
He doesn't need my permission, but he was already talking, so let him answer to that, and I'll go after.
Hey, Daneshwar Prabhu, what were you going to say?
Okay. So recently, from another Vaishnava, from a god sister actually, who had studied Islam for some time, in discussion with her about Islam, she sent me a book about Muhammad, explaining somewhat of his history. And this history is given by a person who's highly respected and recognized both in Pakistan and in the religion of the Muslim religion. And I learned something in this book which I had not known, because first of all, I haven't looked at Islam before at all. And secondly, because some have a, let's say, very low opinion of Islam based on the activities of some of its members. But what I learned in there is that Muhammad, his main effort, his main preaching was to get the people of that era to stop worshiping the demigods and to accept that there is only one main God. And I was very fascinated to learn that, and understood that, let's say I was thinking that, gosh, maybe we should have a Muhammad come and teach that to the Hindus. Or I was thinking that perhaps Prabhupada is that Muhammad to teach that to the Hindus. That, of course, yes, the worship of the demigods is there. And this is being mentioned in regard to Shiva, Lord Shiva, because of his ability to give us blessings to make progress on our path of becoming better Vaishnavas. But, if you go into any Hindu temple, there are multiple devas there besides Radha Krishna or Sitaram. But it would be really nice if, especially in ISKCON, if they could be taught to understand and accept that Lord Krishna is supreme. Okay, thank you. I'll end there.
Right, thank you, Nrahari Prabhu. Just to let you know, Nrahari, I have Srila Narayan Maharaj's Shiva Tattva book ready to go. So anytime you're ready to read, we'll get into that. I've never read it before. Daneshwar Prabhu has never read it. I don't know about Krishna Chandra or Nanda Patni. But yes, please make your comment, and then we can start reading that book.
Yeah, that is a no, excuse me. That is a very wonderful book. Actually, it's great that you brought it up and that we should read. It's not very, very big. It's brief. Yeah, and in respect to that, because of our association with Sri Narayan Maharaj and him spending sometimes a month and a half for several years coming to Hawaii, and he will come in December for a month and a half, and we will travel from Big Island to Honolulu, and I did all kinds of services. Plus, he asked us to play and sing for him, and write songs, etc. So I got a chance. He will go for Gaur Purnima, but sometimes Sivaratri, of course, comes first, and he might be there. He was here, and so I observed that he didn't want this to be divulged to general class of devotees, but he would fast. On Shivaratri day, he will fast and keep that very quiet. And of course, his intention wasn't to worship a demigod. And higher than the worship of even. This is something Lord Shiva tells Parvati. He asks, what is the highest worship? Is the highest, and Lord Shiva responds, is the worship of Vishnu. But higher than that is the worship of the devotees of Krishna or Vishnu. So the approach to the worship, or the let's say the honoring or worshiping Lord Shiva, is that we consider him the best of Vaishnavas. And so yeah, he did fast, but he didn't want to make that as a rule for the rest of the devotees in general, because it lends to all kinds of speculations. So he didn't want to spread.
Thank you.
I think that's about it. I was thinking something else, but yeah, now that you have the book, it's a wonderful pastime with with Sri Narada, and it's just to show how high a devotee, high personality Lord Shiva is. So if you want to read from that book, it'll be great.
Who was the last to read? Can they remember?
I think I was the last one to read.
Okay, if you're the last one, that means Daneshwar Prabhu will be the next one.
Okay.
I missed my turn.
She missed her turn, though. But
No, that's okay.
Oh, okay.
I didn't. I don't think I did.
no,
I'm
you
confused.
you read about it.
I read. I'm confused.
Sorry.
Jai Prabhupada.
Jai Prabhupada. Lord Shiva's highest benediction is chapter 1, the post and the person, 3 considerations, and gatekeeper to the abode of love. Wow, about 35 or 40 pages here. Now, how does it go from here? And then all of a sudden it jumps. How is it that it just jumps all of a sudden to, I guess it starts there.
Looks like a page is missing.
Yeah, it does.
Page I.
Yeah. If you want to start there anyway, Daneshwar Prabhu?
Okay. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam Rita, chapter 3, verses 1 to 5. Parvati Devi was creating an enchanting rhythm with the kartals, and Lord Shiva was praising her for that. Seeing all this from a distance, the sage Narada jubilantly offered obeisances and began to clap, playing his veena. Time and again he said, "You are the greatest recipient of Sri Krishna's mercy." Repeating Lord Brahma's words, he began glorifying Shiva in a melodious voice. When Sri Narada approached Sri Ruda, Lord Shiva, to take the dust of his lotus feet, Shiva, who was intoxicated in the nectar stream of Krishna Prema, and who is very dear to the Vaishnavas, pulled the sage, need some spacing there, pulled the sage near, embraced him, and respectfully said, "Oh, son of Brahma, what are you saying?" Okay, so we remember from Brihad Bhagavatamrita that all the devotees, they were, when they were being praised as being the best devotee, they would refuse to accept such honor, and they would instead point to another devotee as being the best.
Right.
Shall I continue?
These 2 paragraphs.
Okay. Lord Shiva's fame as the greatest devotee of Lord Krishna was first presented to the English-speaking world by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The foremost worldwide teacher of Gaudiya Vaishnavism, Srila Prabhupada inspired an international movement. He gave to the world a veritable treasure chest in his English translations of Vedic literature. It is that treasure chest upon which we continually draw to enrich this publication with footnotes and supplements. It was on the request of Srila Prabhupada that Srila Narayan Maharaj now travels and teaches audiences worldwide, nurturing the spiritual lives of thousands.
Okay, let's see. I think it is now. Okay. The way it's looking here, it's okay. It's all mixed up now. We start off in one order, and then when people, okay, Nanda Patni, and then Bhavatrini Nahari.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So it looks like this is an introduction being written here.
Should we skip this and just go directly? Maybe we should go directly. Yeah.
The editors, yeah. Mhm.
Once the great sage.
Okay, once the great sage Narada Muni traveled to the abode of Lord Shiva and began to glorify him, saying, "You are very near and dear to the Supreme Lord Krishna. Not only that, you are Krishna's manifestation, and you're non-different from him. You can give liberation and also Krishna Prem, the jewel of transcendental love for Krishna." Hearing Narada glorifying him in numerous ways, Lord Shiva became angry and said, "Your glorification of me is false, and I'm not at all dear to Sri Krishna." Lord Shiva is actually most dear to Sri Krishna, and therefore Krishna can give him services which he cannot give anyone else. When the demigods and the demons were churning the milk ocean in order to obtain the nectar of immortality, the first substance produced was a powerful and dangerous poison burning the entire world. The demigods appealed to Sri Krishna, and he advised them to request Lord Shiva to drink the poison. Thus, they worshipped Lord Shiva and prayed, "Please save us. Only you can protect us." Lord Shiva collected the poison and took it in his mouth, but he hesitated to swallow it, considering, "Lord Krishna is in my heart. The poison will affect him." He therefore kept the poison in his throat, which was burned, and his neck turned the color blue.
Baba Trini, in your hurry.
You scroll, so I begin. All right. Now, out of genuine humility, Lord Shiva told Narada, "I want to be his beloved devotee, but actually I'm not. You know that I always wear ashes from the burial grounds and a garland of skulls. All my associates are ghosts and witches, so I am not qualified to be Krishna's dear devotee. If I am so dear to him, why would he have ordered me to engage with the mode of ignorance and in the terrible function of destroying the universe? If I am such a great recipient of his mercy, why would he have ordered me to become Shankaracharya and preach a philosophy that is adverse to him?" Actually, although he expressed, okay.
Continue.
Shall I go on? Okay.
Please.
Actually, although he expressed otherwise, it was because Shiva is so dear to Krishna that Krishna was able to give him the difficult task, sometimes given benedictions of his enemies. I know benedictions to his enemies. I know that his enemies, as well as the enemies of his devoted cousins, the Pandavas, worship you for ill-motivated benedictions. I also know that you grant them benedictions, but those benedictions are not foolproof. They always have some loophole. Actually, you cheat these beneficiaries in order to please Lord Krishna. You are undoubtedly his dearest friend, unquote.
Just finish that.
Shiva and Narada continue to discuss some historical incidents which, according to Shiva, proved that he was not dear to Krishna, but according to Narada, proved the opposite.
Baba Trini.
A loophole. The great epic Mahabharata. Sorry, I don't have my glasses on. Please wait 1 minute.
Yes, absolutely.
Shoot. There it is. The great epic Mahabharata tells of King Jayadratha, one of the many demons who received such a clever benediction from Lord Shiva. Duryodhana, the paternal cousin of the 5 Pandava brothers, had given his sister Dushala in marriage to King Jayadratha, and therefore the king had also become like a brother-in-law of the Pandavas. Once Jayadratha tried to kidnap the Pandava's wife, Draupadi, desiring strongly to make her his own wife. As he forced her onto his chariot, she admonished him, crying, I am the wife of the Pandavas. When they catch you, they will punish you and kill you. Jayadratha's arrogance prevented him from hearing her, and he continued his abduction. Meanwhile, the sage Narada approached the Pandavas and informed them, Oh, I saw Jayadrath taking away Draupadi, and she was weeping.
Two of the Pandavas, Bhima and Arjuna, immediately chased after Jayadrath. Bhima dismounted his chariot and ran faster than Jayadrath's horses. With his bow and arrows, Arjuna created a fire that surrounded the chariot of Jayadrath, who was then captured and could not move. Severely beaten by Bhima and arrested by Arjuna, Jayadrath was bound to the chariot and taken to where Yudhishthira Maharaj had been staying with Draupadi. Bhima and Arjuna spoke to Yudhishthira, their respected senior brother. Bhima urged him, I want to kill Jayadrath. Please order me to kill him. In support of Bhima, Arjuna said, Jayadrath has performed a heinous act and should be killed. Krishna Chandra?
King Yudhisthira replied, The offense was committed against Draupadi. We should take the case to her, and we will do whatever she orders. When Jayadrath was brought at the feet of Draupadi, she mercifully told her husbands, Don't kill him, forgive him. He is our brother-in-law. A clever benediction. Envious of Krishna and with a desire for the strength to destroy him, the demon Shalva also took shelter of Lord Shiva. He performed a severe type of austerity and ate no more than a handful of ashes daily. After 1 year, Lord Shiva became pleased with him and asked him to beg for a boon. Shalva, sorry, go ahead.
Dineshwar and then the Patni.
Shalva begged from Lord Shiva the gift of an airplane, saying, This airplane should perform as I wish. It should be operated by my mind. On my order, it should go to heaven or anywhere I desire. In summer, it should be air conditioned. If there are only 2 men, there should be only 2 seats. And if I want to travel with hundreds and thousands of persons, many seats should manifest. It should it should never crash due to mechanical difficulty. And it should be equipped with varieties of weapons. It should be dangerous and fearful to the Yadus. Lord Shiva agreed, and Shalva was helped by the demon Mayadanava to manufacture a mystical airplane that began to destroy Dwarka, Lord Krishna's abode. Shalva personally attacked from above, and his soldiers attacked on the ground. Headed by Pradyumna, the Yadu dynasty warriors fought with Shalva and his army, but they could not defeat him.
Finally, Lord Krishna personally appeared on the battlefield, and after much intense fighting on both sides and many mystic displays by Shalva, the Lord took up his disc and cut off the demon's head and gave him liberation. In this way, the benedictions given by Lord Shiva to the enemies of Lord Krishna always have a weak point, a loophole. Lord Shiva is extremely clever and is always serving his Lord, Sri Krishna. Narada knew this fact and he wanted to publicize Lord Shiva's glories. Shiva is very near and dear to Krishna and non-different from him. Try to always honor him, for he is Krishna's greatest devotee. Nimna ganam yata ganga, devanam achyutu yata, vaishnavanam yata shambhu, purananam idam tata, Srimad Bhagavatam 12, 13, 16. Just as the Ganga is the greatest of all rivers, Lord Achyuta Krishna, the supreme among deities, and Lord Shambhu Shiva, the greatest of Vaishnavas, so Srimad Bhagavatam is the greatest of all Puranas.
Thanks very much for coming, Rasangi and Via. Are you able to read, Rasangi, or you're busy?
I have a question before we go on.
I can read. Go ahead, though, with your question.
Okay, we'll just hear Daneshwar first.
So I didn't see the loopholes. That section was supposed to be about loopholes, and I didn't really see where the loophole was. Maybe somebody could explain that.
Well, I mean, in the last part with Shalva, he was benedicted by Lord Shiva, but in the end, he had his head cut off by Krishna. So I suppose, I don't know if you call that a loophole precisely.
Yeah, well, because he got the benediction he asked for from Lord Shiva, but he didn't ask to become immortal or anything. Anyway, so not only in that one, but in the previous example, also, I didn't understand where the loophole was.
Yeah, no, I didn't in the last one either, actually, to be honest.
You mean before Shalva?
Yeah.
Jayadrat.
Yeah.
That maybe because Jayadrat was saved? I'm trying to understand. That's a good question you're asking. It's a good summary of what we're reading. Via, did you catch any of that?
I've just been listening. I just joined, I think, like 10 minutes ago, but
Okay.
yeah, I'm just I'm just listening. Sorry.
She wasn't here for the story, so it's hard for her to say.
Yeah.
But I can read whenever it's like my turn. I can do that.
Was it, just to remind us, so what did had Jayadrath actually asked for benediction?
What was Jayadrath's benediction?
No, I'm asking, had he asked for one?
No, he just took the benediction of Draupadi, but that was not such a benediction, was it?
Well, yeah, I didn't catch it. He said, who received a clever benediction from Lord Shiva, but it didn't actually explain what the benediction was. The next thing is, it just goes on to say that he's kidnapping Draupadi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nirhari, did you know? Bavatrini, do you know?
No.
Yeah, there's there's more detail missing here.
Yeah, I think so.
But you can see that perhaps he was counting. I don't know if there's a background where Jayadratha got benediction to be a relative.
I think the page is missing.
But something is missing here.
Mm-hmm.
When we start reading, we went on to. There's something not.
You can see just how attentive Daneshwar Prabhu is. He caught that.
I write books, and so I'm I'm sensitive to these things, and I would suggest, if anybody knows the editors, for these books, that they go back to them and tell them that there's something missing from the story and to fix it, and also to add that missing page I, or Roman numeral I, that was missing here.
I'll tell Tridandi Maharaj. Thank you for bringing that to my attention, Daneshwar Prabhu.
Actually, Jadurani Shamarani is the chief editor. It's one of the editors in this. It would be good to contact.
I'll write to her.
Actually.
I'll write to her. Rasanti, would you like to continue?
Basanti. And the other thing is on Shalva, he's asking for. He has a list here of what he wants in machine, something that will destroy the Yarus and like that. So he said, I want, air conditioned summer. Any amount of seats according to how many people get in there, no mechanical failures, like that. He has a whole list that he thought, well, I'm clever enough to have an indestructible airplane by which he can decimate the Yarus. But I know there is a story behind this and why, and so it's not very clear, as you said.
Okay, thank you. Rasangi, would you like to continue?
Yeah, granting perfect love. Lord Shiva eternally resides in Lord Krishna's abode, Vrindavan, where he manifests many forms to render devotional services to him. The form of Gopishwar Mahadev was manifested by Lord Krishna's desire. When Krishna desired to perform his Ras dance, Srimati Radhika, the embodiment of his pleasure potency, manifested from his left side, and Gopeshwar Mahadev manifested from his right side. That's weird because don't we understand that Srimati Radhika manifested on a lotus leaf in the water or in a field? So I'm not sure what that means. That, you know what I mean? That she came from it, manifested from his left side. There's different stories.
Maybe it means that
No.
at this particular time when he desired to engage in the rasa dance, not at other, not in other times. In other words, at this specific moment, Krishna wants to engage in the rasa dance, so he manifests Srimati Radharani in that way.
Right.
Well, the rasa dance is original, where everything searched comes from. So in the case of why she appears, some kalpas she appears in the lotus, sometimes she appears in the field. That's a manifestation. And also we have like how Lord Krishna appears and manifests. We have also like Lord Balaram, but we know that he's an expansion, plenary expansion of Lord Krishna. So,
And Lord Shiva from his other side. It's very mystical, right?
Please
Yeah.
keep Sandy. We got about 25 pages to go.
Okay. The form of Shiva who lives in Kashi or Kailas in the material world is a partial manifestation of the original Sadashiva in Vrindavan. The many other commonly worshipped forms of Lord Shiva are expansions of Sadashiva. They are not the original. Partial expansions such as Pipaleshwara Mahadev, Bhuteshwara Mahadev, Rangeshwara Mahadev, and so on cannot award the benediction that can be attained by the mercy of Gopeshwar, the highest perfection of love, named Gopi Prem. Srila Raghunath, one paragraph or two?
Two.
Oh,
Srila Raghunath Das Goswami has composed a prayer in his Raj Vilas Stava. Somebody can sing that if they want. Somebody want to read that?
Mudakudasyatmakabuja parishranga nidhaye spurad gopi vrindaryam iha bhagavatam pranayibi bhajad bishtair bhaktyas vama bilasitam praptam achirad yamitire gopishvaram manudinam tam kilabaje.
So
Yeah.
this is not the translation. You might have to scroll to get to the
I'm reading the footnotes here, and it's very pertinent, so we should read that footnote.
But we should go back after we read what that means, don't you think?
Okay.
Let's just read the translation of that prayer. We offer obeisance to Lord Shiva with prayers like this. Oh,
It's hard to understand. Wait a minute.
yeah,
I guess
there's no translation for the other one.
I have to give a bunch of messages to Jadharani on this. It's all mixed up.
All right, I'll read the footnote, or somebody else can read it. I'm good.
Scroll up, yeah.
Okay. Via, you want to read the footnotes?
Okay, yeah. In his original and most pure form, Shiva is eternally Gopeshwar Mahadev, yet he performed the following human-like pastime in which he became Gopeshwar. Lord Shiva wanted to become a gopi. He performed austerities, and when Purnamashi Yogamaya became pleased and appeared before him, he prayed to join Krishna's Rasalila. Purnamashi mercifully assisted him in dipping in Brahmakunda, and he immediately assumed the form of a teenage gopi. He then went to the place where Rasalila was being performed and hid there in a grove. Krishna and the gopis sensed that someone of a different mood had come. They asked each other, "Why are you not so happy today? What is the matter?" After searching, they discovered the new gopi and asked her, "Who are you? What is your name? Who are your parents? What is your husband's name? Where is your in-laws' house?" When Shiva could not reply, they began to slap her so much that her cheeks became swollen and she began to cry, Yogamaya, Yogamaya, save me. I will never again come to Vrindavan, and I will never dare take part in Rasalila. Purnamashi, arrived, and she requested the gopis to show Lord Shiva mercy. She is the object of my mercy. Purnamashi told them. The gopis then asked her as a gopi, and Krishna named her Gopishwar. She whose Ishvars, controllers, are the gopis. He blessed her to become the guard of the Rasa Leela and said, without the sanction of Gopishwar, no one will be able to enter the Rasa Leela, pinnacle of devotion.
Thank you, Nirhari and Babatrini.
We offer obeisance to Lord Shiva with prayers like this. Vrindavana Vani Pate, Jaya Soma Soma Mole, Sanaka Sanandana, Sanatana Nare Vedya, Gopishwara Vraja Vilasi, Yungangri Padme, Prema Prayacha Nirupadi, Namo Namaste, Sankalpa Kalpadruma 103. O gatekeeper of Vrindavan, O Soma, all glories to you. O you whose forehead is decorated with the moon, and who is worshipable by the sages headed by Sanaka, Sanandana, Sanatan, and Narada. O Gopishwar, desiring that you bestow upon me prem for the lotus feet of Sri Radha Madhava, who perform joyous pastimes in Raja Dham, I offer obeisances unto you time and again.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, it's beautiful. That place is like amazing. Like you cannot see people, but it's packed all the time, constantly.
Is this the Gopishvara in Vrindavan?
Yes, I think so. It's just been decorated.
Yeah, I was there on Sivaratri 2 years ago. It was nuts. There was all these guys dressed in red saris. You could see they had shaved their face and they had golden water pots on their heads. It was pretty wild. Jam-packed. I got to touch the Shiva Lingam. Yay. The post and the person. And I just want to say, not that I'm trying to show off, but this, what's on my wrist here is what they tied around me at that Gopishwara temple. I'm still wearing it almost 3
Neat.
Didn't wear it.
Very good.
Special mercy from Lord Shiva.
Keeping all the poison away.
Yeah, I got a lot in my heart that needs to be taken out, that's for sure. Okay, whose turn is it now? Post and the person.
Well, I read little, but it's
Maybe
okay.
you, Gaura?
He just read a little bit. Bavatrini didn't read.
Now the Trini's turn.
Yeah, okay.
And it looks, again, another error here. It starts off with the end of a sentence that we don't even see. Okay.
I don't understand. I think there's something wrong here. Because we have the little booklet. I've never seen all this.
Yeah, well, then the ebook sometimes, they'll do things like that, but whoever is the editor, they have to, check these things out before they send it to be distributed.
Yeah, please continue.
Yeah.
Where do I start? We can reconcile.
Secret pastimes.
The secret. Oh, I see.
Mhm.
The secret pastimes are very confidential, yet both Shiva and Parvati are able to meditate upon them. Shiva is hundreds of thousands of times superior to and more worshipable than Sri Prahlad Maharaj, and yet the artful Shiva declared Prahlad Maharaj to be superior. Why did he do so? In one sense, Prahlad Maharaj is quite superior, and in another sense, he is not. We can reconcile this considering the two perspectives from which to understand the identity of Lord Shiva. We can see Shiva from the point of view of his post, and also from the point of view of his personality. As a personality separate from his post, he appears as an associate of the Supreme Lord, such as Gopishwar, Hanuman, and Bhima. As Gopishwar, he resides eternally in Vrindavan. As Hanuman, he always associates and serves Lord Rama. As Bhima, he always serves Lord Krishna. And when Hanuman and Bhima combine together in the present age of Kali Yuga, they become Madhvacharya, our Sampradaya guru.
I think it's Krishna Chandra's turn, isn't it?
Mhm.
Okay.
Sounds good.
And then Daneshwar.
From the point of view of Lord Shiva's function as the god of annihilation, and also that of Brahma as the secondary creator of the universe, Shiva and Brahma are actually hosts. Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva are not ordinary human beings, but their posts are like that of the president or prime minister of a nation, wherein the man representing the post has to perform a certain defined job. Born as the post and the person, Shiva is superior to Brahma. Lord Shiva is an expansion of Lord Vishnu, but sometimes a jiva, living entity, may become Shiva's expansion known as Rudra. If a man purely performs the duties of Varnashram for 100 births, he may become Brahma. In other words, he may attain the position or post of Brahma. In turn, when a person in the post of Brahma carries out his function expertly for 100 births, he becomes qualified to perform the function of Shiva in his manifestation as Rudra. Shiva's post is therefore superior to that of Brahma, and this is also evidence that Shiva is more powerful than Brahma.
More footnotes. Should we read these or not?
Yes.
Okay.
So, gosh.
Did you want to read them, Daneshwar Prabhu?
Oh, okay. Srila Madhvacharya is, can we go back and see where that's from? 5 and 6. Okay, there's 5.
Wait, there's 5. Oh,
Sampradaya, yeah.
there's
Okay.
5. Sampradaya Guru.
And when Hanuman and Bhima combine together in the present age of Kali, they become Madhvacharya or a Sampradaya Guru. Okay, number 5. And then number 6 is if a man purely performs the duties of an ashram for 100 births, he may become Brahma. Okay, let's see the footnotes then. Srila Madhvacharya is the original acharya for those who belong to the Madhva Sampradaya, Srimad Bhagavatam 6.140 purport. This Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya is also known as the Brahma Sampradaya because the disciplic succession originally began from Brahma. Brahma instructed the sage Narada, Narada instructed Vyas, and Vyas Dev instructed Madhva Muni or Madhvacharya. And it's in the introduction to the Krishna book. Number 6, the Vedas say, Swadharmanishta Sajjanmabi Punam Virin Chatam Eti. One who strictly follows the principles of Varnashram Dharma for at least 100 births will be rewarded with the post of Lord Brahma. Srimad Bhagavatam 5:20-33 purport. Varnashram Dharma, the institutions dividing society into 4 divisions of social life and 4 occupational divisions of castes. But then where does the statement that when Brahma performs properly for 100 births, they can become qualified to be Rudra? Where is that from? I'm curious to know.
Because you're saying that it was not
That'll be good.
it was not being referenced.
Yeah.
That's true. Well,
I'm sure that's a mistake. I mean, an
No,
oversight, but they wouldn't make any statement without, especially coming from Shamarani. I doubt it very much. I don't know. There's something wrong with this e-book.
okay, let's
really.
let's keep going instead of analyzing all of them.
I was just thinking too. I mean, who's keeping record?
I'll get.
You remember? Oh, this is my 99th life of complete. My next life, I'll complete
I'll
Varnashram
get.
again all throughout my life.
Anyway, somebody should mention to the editor so that they can have a good look at this book.
Promise, I
So,
minutes left to read.
Hmm.
Nandapatni, please. Yeah.
okay. I think the 100 lifetimes was in reference to Brahma, which the thought is carrying on here. When Lord Brahma completes the 100 celestial years of his life, Lord Shiva again performs this duty of destruction. At that time, all the spirit souls enter into the body of Karanadaksha Vishnu or Mahavishnu. At the end of each day of Lord Brahma, all souls enter into Garbhadaksha Vishnu. And at the end of Brahma's life, even the millions of manifestations of Garbhadaksha Vishnu enter into Karanadaksha Vishnu, along with the spirit souls. At that time of creation, Karanadaksha Vishnu generates innumerable manifestations of Garbhadaksha Vishnu. And at that time of complete annihilation, they enter back into his body. Lord Shiva is not a living entity, but he is also not in the category of Lord Vishnu. He is much more powerful than any living entity, even up to Lord Brahma. However, he is not equal to Lord Vishnu because he's almost as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He can see the three phases of time, past, present, and future. One of his eyes is like the sun, and the other is like the moon. He also has a third eye located between his eyebrows. It is from.
We'll go back to these after. It is from, and it's not finished.
What?
Wow, I got a lot of complaints for Jadharani. Okay.
Yes, I mean, it's unbelievable.
Jayad Vedaswamy.
We're in the middle of a sentence.
Jayad Vedaswamy would love this book.
So they're missing page 17. That's why, because this is page 16.
Right.
Keep scrolling down.
Yeah.
It jumps to 18. So, yeah.
Can we keep reading, looking at all these footnotes?
Yeah, I don't mind.
You mind?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I'd like to read the footnotes.
Okay.
Dineshwar's footnotes.
Okay, you can read them.
I mean,
It's a footnote, Bhakta.
Not that I have to read them, whoever's next.
Okay, I'll keep reading for a bit. So footnote Loka here.
6 part 7. We're trying to find them.
Scroll down.
Down.
You're going the wrong direction.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. Because
Down. Scroll down.
See, down.
Down, okay, because part 7 was further up.
But
No,
we're at the
down.
end of 16.
There's 7
Yeah.
right there.
Here we go. Stop. Okay, well, up a bit. Okay, up a fraction. Here it is.
Dinesh,
The blazing fire from the mouth of Sankarshan rages for 100 years of the demigods, or 36,000 human years. And then for another 36,000 years, there are torrents of rain accompanied by violent winds and waves, and the seas and oceans overflow. People forget all these devastations of the world and think themselves happy in the material progress of civilization. This is called Maya, or that which is not, Srimad Bhagavatam 3:11-31. Therefore, at the end of the millennium, the Lord himself, in the form of Rudra, the destroyer, will annihilate the complete creation as the wind displaces the clouds. This creation is very appropriately compared to clouds, Srimad Bhagavatam 2:10-43. Shall I whiz through these footnotes?
okay, go for it.
There are two types of dissolution of the manifested cosmos. At the end of every 4,320,000,000 solar years, when Brahma, the lord of one particular universe, goes to sleep, there's another annihilation. And at the end of Lord Brahma's life, which takes place at the end of Brahma's 100 years of age, in our calculation, at the end of 8,640,000,000 times 30 times 12 times 100 solar years, there is complete annihilation of the entire universe. And in both the periods, both the material energy called the Mahatattva and the marginal energy called the Jiva Tattva merge in the person of the Supreme Lord, Srimad Bhagavatam 1:10-21. Karanadaksha Vishnu is the first incarnation of the Supreme Lord, And he is the master of eternal time, space, cause and effects, mind, the elements, the material ego, and the modes of nature, the senses, the universal form, the Lord, Garbhodakshai Vishnu, and the sum total of all living beings, both moving and non-moving. Srimad Bhagavatam 2:642.
Via, and then Mrisangi, please.
The personal associate. Regarding Lord Shiva's glorification of Prahlad Maharaj, now consider Lord Shiva's identity as a transcendental personality, separate from his post. Sometimes senior Vaishnavas express sincere recognition of the novice, inspiring him or her on the path of devotion. The Vaishnav may say, "Oh, you work so hard and earn money, and with that money you support and nourish me. I have no means at all. I do nothing but visit for a short while, eating and sleeping at your expense. I would not be able to speak the glories of Lord Krishna at this festival if you had not arranged for the management of all the activities here. So you are superior to me. Out of sincere humility, gratitude, and affection, liberated souls speak in this endearing manner, and at the same time, they are fixed in the realization that they are always being personally maintained by the Supreme Lord. The senior Vaishnav has the disciples' personal benefit in mind. However, Lord Shiva was not speaking to Prahlad Maharaj's benefit, but to acquaint aspiring devotees with the stages of devotion. His desire was to facilitate the service of Sri Narad Muni and Srila Sanatana Goswami, whose mission was to establish in the world the sequence of the grades of devotion and ultimately establish the glories of the gopis. Try to understand all of these truths and seek to gradually become firmly situated in bhakti. So I keep going.
Mrisangi's turn.
Okay.
There are 1,000 pounds of iron and only 1 ounce of gold.
Imagine.
Oh, imagine that you are in a market where there are thousands of varieties of shops. In some of those shops, there are products made of iron. In some shops, there are products made of gold. And in some, there are jewels, and in others, chintamani, wish-fulfilling stones. An expert is guiding you through all the shops, pointing out different products and revealing which are superior. If there are 1,000 pounds of iron and only 1 ounce of gold, the gold has more value. On the other hand, many pounds of gold will not amount to the value of 1 Kaustubha mani, or similarly precious stone. Millions of such precious jewels cannot compare with the tiny quantity of chintamani, and even millions of chintamani stones cannot compare with one holy name of Lord Krishna.
Wow.
Wow.
Want to just finish that, Mrisangi, that section?
Oh. Now suppose someone is chanting the name of Lord Krishna alone, and another is absorbed in the name of Radha Raman. The name Radha Raman, meaning Sri Krishna, the enjoyer of pastimes of Srimati Radharani, has more transcendental taste, ras, than the name Krishna alone. Yeah, I never heard that. I mean, that there's, like, would you say it has more value, or it has more ras, at least? But I wonder more value. The person absorbed in that holy name will therefore experience a greater pleasure. That's so cool. Please see the preface for more details. Okay, that moment we chant Hare Krishna, which is both Radha and Krishna, so we get the maximum pleasure from chanting the Maha Mantra.
Bhavatrini, maybe we'll make this our last time through. Bhavatrini and Rahari. 3 considerations. Wow, again, it jumps to a section. Where is
22
that? Was what,
chapter.
page
18.
18 to 22. Wow.
My
Okay.
take on this is that parts of the book didn't load, when they uploaded.
Yes.
Anyway.
Hello?
Hello.
Please continue.
Can you hear? So where do I start?
Sankashmanik stands.
I'm sorry, everybody stop. This creative desire, Shankarshan expands as Mahavishnu, Karunadakshay Vishnu. Mahavishnu then desires to create, and his desire takes the form of a light that emanates from between his eyebrows. The semblance of dim twilight reflection of that light is called Shambhu Linga, Shiva. Many people worship Lord Shiva in the form of Shambhu Linga. This light itself is eternal and is not Shambhu Linga. Shambhu Linga is its semblance or shadow. There is another semblance called Yoni, and this is the shadow of Rama Devi. Rama Devi is the spiritual potency of Mahavishnu, and in Vaikuntha, she's Lord Narayan's beloved consort Lakshmi Devi. This is the original transcendental form, and their shadow is the limited conceiving potency, Yoni. Read on,
Wait,
Trini.
Trini.
Mahavishnu.
My eyes are hurting. I can't
Okay,
read.
she can't read right now.
Anyway, here it's after 9 o'clock because if I'm going to write to Jadharani, I should do it now. So should we stop here? Does anyone have comments or questions?
Um,
I think we made it halfway through the book.
It's pretty
Yeah,
good.
I'd like to see the complete book. It's quite a nice book, and it'd be nice to have the whole thing.
yes, especially, I mean,
I agree.
ebook.
I think it's in
I read
the
it some.
third canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Prabhupada goes into a lot of this detail, doesn't he? About Lord Shiva and, you know, all these different expansions, Mahavishnu, etc., etc. That he goes into a similar level of detail, I would argue.
Where's the book?
Well, there's Shiva Tattva too, but these are compilations of lectures, and you can see actually that Sri Narayan Maharaj would always lecture from Prabhupada's books. Either it was Chaitanya Charitamrita or Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada's Srimad Bhagavatam, or in the case that if they weren't translated, like Hari Bhakti Vilas or Manashiksha from Das Raghunath, like that, he would then lecture on them, but mostly from Srila Prabhupada's books, Srimad Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita.
So I wish everyone an ecstatic Sivaratri tomorrow, however way you choose to observe that.
We have here in Hawaii, there's the beach and the rocks are black, and our children, you know, the young adults, when there's a nearby little bay, not very known, and there's many rocks, different sizes, and one day they brought up a perfect Shiva Lingam with 3 strides on the side.
Really?
It was really amazing. So
In the
yeah,
ocean?
so we set it up. It was at the shore.
Yeah.
The ocean brings, you know, tumble rocks. They're all round and like that. But this particular one was a cylinder, perfect, with 3 indentations across. So we install it outside in our garden. We put it over a rock, and it's leaning against a sacred Hawaiian tree, and so the other day we have a bell fruit tree here in our garden too, and it has this very typical characteristic 3 leaves together, like with a major one, a bigger one in the middle, and so I picked a bunch of those, and we have champak, we have plumeria here.
Wow.
And so we offer that, and like that. So
You get the bale fruit.
yes,
You actually get the fruit.
not yet. The trees
Oh,
are
okay.
not that big, and I've been
Okay.
starting to since we got the cows. We got them some years back, and they always remain kind of little. But since we have the cows and we're using cow dung and the cow's urine, they've been growing really healthy. I'm hoping that hopefully they will produce fruit. We got him from 2 Bengali devotees that came to the Big Island, and they used to stay in an ashram run by Ram Das, a disciple of he was a god brother. Remember about Trini Ram Das? Yeah. Anyhow, there was a temple here for a while, and that's where we got the trees.
I have one more comment before we leave, please.
And I have a question too. Go ahead, Dinesh.
Actually, this is kind of a question. I don't remember if Prabhupada has explained anywhere in his purports the understanding of the Shiva Lingam. It's, I think it would be very important for, and I don't know anybody that's actually explained it. I've come to understand the principle after, years of thinking about it. But the male generative organ, being the object of worship, of course, then Parvati is the, Parvati and Lord Shiva, they're the male and female energies, female and male energies, respectively. But does anybody know, has Prabhupada explained the Shiva Lingam anywhere? Or anywhere where it's properly explained?
I could try looking it up because I just read the 3rd canto not so long ago.
I have a reference in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya. Excuse me, I didn't mean to cut you.
No, go ahead, Gaura, go ahead.
Lord Shiva is considered the father of this universe. This is from Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila what? It just says Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila. That's all I have. Oh, 273. Yeah, to impregnate with the seeds of the living entities, the Lord himself does not directly touch the material energy, but by a specific functional expansion, he touches the material energy, and thus the living entities who are parts and parcels are impregnated into material nature. And in the purport, Prabhupada says, Lord Shiva is considered the father of this universe, and material nature is considered the mother. The father and mother are known as Lord Shiva and Goddess Durga. Together, Lord Shiva's genitals and the vagina of Goddess Durga are worshipped as the Shiva Linga. This is the origin of the material creation. Thus, Lord Shiva's position is between that of the living entity and that of the Supreme Lord. In other words, Lord Shiva is neither the Supreme Personality of Godhead nor a living entity. He is the form through which the Supreme Lord, works to beget living entities within this material world. Is that kind of what you were looking for, Dinesh?
Yeah, thank you very much. Sure, that's good.
That's interesting, isn't it? Because we always think of him so much as having this role as the destroyer, and we often think of Lord Brahma as, the creatrix, so to speak. And here, we're talking about Lord Shiva being the creator.
Yeah, well, the Shiva Lingam, as Prabhupada explained there, is the generative organs of both the male and female.
Yeah, I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
It sort of puts Lord Shiva in the role of the creator.
Yeah.
Which is not normally the way we sort of think about him.
It's an expansion of Sadashiva. So he has his own planet in the spiritual world, doesn't he? So yes. And then originally, actually, it is said that everything originates in the highest place, which is Braj. And the Rasa dance, he's part of.
Thank you, Daneshwar, for making the suggestion that I should write down the names of everybody, because when it's just a limited number, everyone stays in the same order, and as people arrive at different times, everything gets mixed up. So I apologize, Krishna Chandra, you come after the but I wasn't able to keep touch, and now Shikarani is just as well.
Okay.
But we're stopping anyway, right?
But I'll pose this question to Shikarani, since she's coming from the land of Krishna. Shikarani, can you please tell me why, since Lord Shiva is the greatest of all Vaishnavas, why doesn't he wear tilak? How come he's got these 3 stripes across his forehead? If he's supposed to be the greatest Vaishnav, you would think that he would have the best Vaishnav tilak of all. Can you please tell me? I'm asking.
Or to put it another way, what is the origin of Shiva's tilak?
Okay, all right. Can anyone answer, please?
Maybe because of his third eye.
Maybe. Maybe it doesn't sound very definitive.
Yeah.
Let's try, but not exactly shastric.
But if he really has a third eye, how can he put tilak on the eye?
No, he can put the tilak. The tilak, the eye can come between the two bars of the tilak.
Yeah,
But
but
that will be
when you put the
difficult.
tilak, yeah. No, but we had to ask authority. We should try to research this and
Nobody's
ask
able to answer
any
that.
devotees that
Nobody can tell me. So far,
nobody has yet.
nobody knows.
Ask Lord Shiva.
I want
Ask
to know.
Lord Shiva then.
I'm sorry. I did a quick
And
Google.
Eat ashes only for 6 months. Eat only ashes for 6 months, so you can please Lord Shiva and then ask him.
Krishna Chandra's got a lead.
What you got for us, Krishna Chandra?
I did a quick Google search, and apparently that there might be a Leela where Krishna has asked Shiva to change his tilak so that the Vaishnavas and Rakshasas could be identified appropriately. I want to do this further, but I just wanted to let you know there is something out there before too
Up
much
to
time goes by.
Google.
Google.
Sheila Google Pod.
Guru Google Pod.
We'll make offenses to Sheila Google Pod.
He's not in our lineage. He's not in our sampradaya. Yeah, he's off left field.
Via, do you know you're from Kashmir? Your family's from Kashmir. Did they worship? Yes.
No, I know about like Shivaits and people like that. Like they wear their tilak like that. But I was also gonna say maybe because of his third eye. I don't know, like if it's symbolizing something like that. I don't know. I know that the tilak that we do, it's like, and it makes sense what you're saying. Like, why wouldn't he wear it? Like, why wouldn't he have the best Vaishnav tilak if he's probably Krishna's greatest devotee. And I know the tilak we wear, it represents like Krishna's foot, and then the tulsi leaf. Yeah, I don't know why he wears tilak like that with the 3 stripes over his third eye. Yeah.
Mystery.
Yeah.
Well, can I
think
ask
here we're
something?
confusing.
Nandapani, you started first. 1 second.
Sorry, Nrihari, but so also we have this phenomenon where Shiva himself comes out of the third eye of Lord Brahma.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of third eye manifestation going on here.
Lord Brahma still manages to put on his tilak in spite of the third eye, right?
Okay, we'll expect to know the answer, Gaura, next. Lord Shiva will reveal it to you tomorrow or tonight.
Maybe.
Now we getting everything a little mixed up in between functions and the personality. I mean, we had Lord Shiva, Lord Vishnu, and Lord Brahma, and the deities of respective 3 modes of material nature. And so in the case of Lord Brahma, we know he's a jiva, and it will attract a certain type of personalities. They're demigods. And Lord Shiva is now playing a function, but it's also considered as Sadashiva. He's a lot superior to Lord Brahma. And so the personality itself, Lord Shiva, is a devotee of Krishna, we know that, but look at that, he appears as Shankaracharya to distract the demons who are very attracted to Lord, the way he is, and like that, he has so much mercy and compassion on those goblins, very undesirable characters, and he brings them up towards devotional service to Lord Krishna. So yeah, he might look apparently, very ghastly.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There is a story of
I'm getting up.
the story of Mother Jashoda when Lord Shiva goes to Braja to see Lord Krishna, he has an ardent desire to see baby Krishna. And when he shows up, it scares Mother Yashoda and tells him to stay outside.
I'm getting out
right.
of the car.
Yeah, and he, and the child is crying and crying and crying. She cannot console Lord Krishna. And Lord Shiva says, I can do that. And so at the end, it's a pastime between them. Finally, when the baby calms down when he sees Lord Shiva. So she permanently let them stay in her garden outside her house. As
Interesting.
a sadhu like that.
You have any idea which astra that is? I'm not trying to give you a hard time. I'm just wondering. That's fascinating. Like, where is that?
I think it's on Indradyumna, one of his lectures, Nrihari, isn't it?
Oh, okay.
No, I didn't hear it from him. And he,
heard it.
in the Dumna Swami, he quotes from all the
Yeah.
great Vaishnavas, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, the six
Oh,
Goswamis, Narottam Das Thakur, and like that. And sometimes he goes on, and I say, where did he get that? And yes, last night I was listening to one of his lectures, and he read a manuscript from a famous Goswami in Vrindavan that I never heard of before, but it's there, and it's been confirmed by several of our God brothers and senior Vaishnavas in that community of Raj, great scholars, that yes, he's an authentic, is our Guru Varga or Parampara. And so he was reading a most amazing pastime in much more detail than I heard it before. And so this I cannot tell you the quote. Tridandi Maharaj might know. Gaura, I just
That's okay.
I repeating what I heard from
That's
other
okay.
Vaishnavas.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to ask. I mean, because I just complicate things when I ask.
I was just
it's
gonna.
fine. I think we should know.
I just wanted to say,
Go
I
ahead,
just
sir.
looked it up. I'm sorry, Prabhu. I just looked it up, like the meaning of Shiva's tilak, and I just found something that said the allegorical significance of the three ash lines is that the tradition sees them as streaks of three Vedic fires, three audible syllables of Om, so AUM, the three gunas, three worlds, three Atmans, three Vedas, and three aspects of Shiva. That was what it said, but yeah.
Yeah, but this originally actually is Krishna himself.
Yeah,
It impersonally take over that Omkara and the Pranava to mean that is some impersonal or something like that, the three modes and like that. Also, it is said it's Radha, Krishna, and humanity. AUM, yeah. But yeah, it's always good to have references. Prabhupada taught us that way, and I think it's important because it clarifies, puts to rest all doubts that we might have.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, everybody. We'll see you Wednesday for resuming Krishna book. Been a while. Too many festivals coming. When is Gaura coming up? Does anyone know?
17th of March.
Yes.
Okay.
Prabhu's
By the way,
I just needed your blessings because today is my birthday. So just wanted to have
happy
blessings from
birthday.
everyone.
Happy birthday.
A Krishna conscious birthday. Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Thanks.
Hare Krishna to you.
Hare Krishna
Hare
Hare Krishna to you.
May you never take birth again. Hare Krishna to you.
To you.
Thank you.
Years of devotional service for you, Shekarani.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Eternal devotional service.
And especially, Lord, we were discussing Shikarani before you came. Why is it that sometimes, should we fast in Lord Shiva's appearance or not? And some great Vaishnavas choose to do so, but it's always not to us for a material desire or wish, because actually Lord Shiva can give the highest, which is Krishna Prem. We were just reading that today.
Sure,
So
Prabhu.
it's it's great chance to wish for something very, very clever, which will be attainment, actually the greatest treasure, attainment of Krishna Prem.
Sure, Prabhu.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Please accept my respectful obeisances. Vanchikopa Trubhischa Kripas See you Wednesday, Krishna willing. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi.
Jai. Hari
Hari
Bol.